The Philippines, as a diverse and archipelagic nation, is shaped by a complex interplay of cultural, geographical, political, and social forces. Its identity is continually formed and reformed through the dynamics of borders, territoriality, language, religion, migration, and cultural hybridity. These interconnected themes influence how Filipinos view themselves and others, how communities interact, and how the country navigates internal and global challenges. Borders are geographic, political, or social boundaries that separate different territories or groups, defining who belongs where and who doesn't. These borders can be physical, like national borders, or conceptual, such as those between social classes or cultural groups. In the Philippines, borders can be seen in the division between the country's different islands or the distinction between urban and rural areas. The strict immigration policies of the Philippines also create physical and legal borders that affect the movement of people in and out of the country. For instance, OFWs, overseas Filipino workers, experience migration across national borders, which not only influences their lives, but also impacts the cultures of both their host countries and their own communities back home. Territoriality refers to the idea of ownership and control over a specific geographical area. And in the Philippines, it can be reflected in both the linguistic and political domains. The distribution of languages often correlates with territorial boundaries. For example, the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Mindanao is home to various Muslim-majority communities that speak languages like Maguindanao, Maranao, and Tausug. And these linguistic boundaries are often seen as a form of territoriality that ties language to political autonomy and identity. Similarly, indigenous communities in the Cordillera region, like the Ifugao and Bontoc, use their native languages to reinforce their territorial claims over ancestral lands, which are crucial for maintaining cultural practices. In urban areas like Metro Manila, however, Filipino and English dominate, often pushing local languages to the margins. This shift reflects a kind of territoriality where dominant languages gain prominence in social, political, and economic spheres, influencing people's access to resources and opportunities. As borders and territorial claims shape the physical landscape of the Philippines, they are deeply interwoven with language. Language not only defines space, but also forms the foundation of cultural identity, community affiliation, and access to social power. Language is a powerful tool that shapes identity and plays a crucial role in the concept of territoriality. In the Philippines, language is deeply tied to the country's cultural and regional identities. The Philippines has over 170 languages, with Filipino, based on Tagalog, and English serving as the official languages. Language not only reflects personal and cultural identity, but also marks territorial boundaries, as different linguistic groups inhabit distinct geographical regions. For example, the Visayan languages, like Cebuano, Hiligaynon, and Waray, are spoken in the Visayas, while Ilocano is predominant in the northern Luzon region, and Kapampangan is mainly spoken in Pampanga and nearby provinces. Each language group often considers their language as a key marker of their identity and cultural heritage. Identity is closely tied to language because it helps individuals define who they are and where they belong. In the Philippines, language reinforces the identity of regional groups, and the way people speak can influence how they are perceived by others. For instance, Tagalog speakers often identify themselves as part of the Central Luzon cultural group, while Cebuano speakers may define themselves as part of a broader Visayan identity. Regional dialects or languages can also foster solidarity among people within a specific territory, as language is a marker of group membership. However, the official use of Filipino and English in national and formal contexts can sometimes overshadow these local identities, leading to tensions between regional languages and national language policies. Just as language reflects regional identity and territorial belonging, religion also plays a key role in shaping cultural landscapes. In the Philippine archipelago, the practice and influence of religion are deeply rooted in geography, influencing how communities have historically formed and continue to evolve. Religion plays a significant role in shaping cultural, social, and political landscapes worldwide. It often intersects with geography and geopolitics, influencing where communities settle, how they interact with others, and how they view political power. In the Philippines, Christianity, specifically Roman Catholicism, is the dominant religion, significantly shaping the country's values, festivals, and daily life. Religion in the Philippines is often intertwined with geography, as certain regions have distinct religious identities. For instance, Mindanao has a large Muslim population, particularly in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, which reflects the region's historical and geographical ties to Islam brought by trade and cultural exchange with Southeast Asia and the Middle East. The division between the predominantly Catholic Luzon and the Muslim-majority Mindanao is a geographical and religious distinction that has influenced the country's political and social dynamics. Geography, in turn, affects how religion is practiced and how it influences political decisions. The Philippines is an archipelago with over 7,000 islands, which has contributed to the spread of Christianity and Islam in distinct patterns. Catholicism, brought by Spanish colonization, spread quickly in Luzon and Visayas, where it became deeply integrated into the culture and governance. Meanwhile, Islam, which arrived in Mindanao in the 14th century, became a central part of the culture in that region. Geography has also influenced religious practices, such as the Basilan or Sulu provinces, where Islam is deeply rooted, or Cebu and Manila, where Catholicism dominates. The physical barriers created by islands have allowed these religious differences to persist and have been a source of both harmony and conflict over time. Religious and geographical divisions are not only cultural markers, but also sources of political tension. These factors give rise to geopolitical struggles, particularly in regions like Mindanao, where religious identity and political autonomy collide. Geopolitics refers to the relationship between geography, politics, and power. In the Philippines, geopolitical tensions often have religious and cultural underpinnings. The Bangsamoro conflict in Mindanao is a prime example, where the Muslim-majority population has sought greater autonomy from the central government, which is largely Catholic. The struggle for autonomy, influenced by both geography and religion, has led to a long-standing conflict that has shaped the political and social landscape of the country. International geopolitics also plays a role, as the Philippines' positioning in Southeast Asia makes it a focal point for geopolitical interests, particularly with respect to China's presence in the South China Sea, an area of significant territorial and economic importance. The religious aspect of the conflict, particularly in Mindanao, also intersects with geopolitical struggles for control over natural resources, strategic territories, and cultural preservation. While geopolitics shapes borders and autonomy within the country, Filipinos also face cultural negotiations abroad. Migration brings a different kind of border crossing, one that leads to blending, transformation, and redefinition of cultural identity. Migration refers to the movement of people from one place to another, often driven by factors such as economic opportunity, conflict, or environmental challenges. In the context of the Philippines, migration has been a significant phenomenon due to its large number of OFWs who move to countries like the United States, Saudi Arabia, and Japan in search of better job prospects. Migration leads to the movement of ideas, customs, and traditions, which in turn shapes both the host and the home country's cultures. For instance, Filipinos in the United States have influenced local food culture by popularizing Filipino dishes such as adobo, sinigang, and lechon in various parts of the country. This movement of people also creates diaspora communities that maintain Filipino cultural practices while integrating into the broader society. Cultural hybridity is the blending and mixing of different cultural influences due to migration and globalization. It occurs when different cultural traditions merge to create something new and unique. In the Philippines, cultural hybridity is visible in various aspects of daily life. For example, Filipino cuisine is a mix of indigenous Filipino flavors combined with influences from Spanish, American, and Chinese cultures, such as the incorporation of adobo from Spanish cooking, or siopao, a Chinese steamed bun. Additionally, Filipino pop culture reflects cultural hybridity through the growing popularity of K-pop, which blends Korean music styles with global elements, or the increasing presence of Western-style fashion and entertainment in Filipino society. Hybrid identities also emerge from the blending of local and global influences, where individuals navigate multiple cultural worlds, such as Filipino-American or Filipino-Chinese identities, which incorporate both local Filipino traditions and global influences. Thank you very much.